What's up, everybody? I'm James.
I am JP.
I'm Ryan.
And who are we?
We are the CineNerds.
And
That's
we're doing JP's pick today. So it's going to be awesome. You know, it's going to be awesome on my side.
What was your pick?
This film is called John Dies at the End.
Did he?
You just gave the whole thing away to everyone.
I mean,
God.
Did he, though?
Did he? I don't know. You guys have to watch the film if you've never seen it to find out if John actually dies at the end.
This was another one for me that was like, I heard Huckabees. What the fuck is happening?
This is way better than I Heart Huckabees.
No.
Like, I'm
come
just
on.
gonna. I'm
Anyways.
just going in deep right now. This movie made no sense. On purpose. There's a meat Voltron. Yes, I said that. There's a meat Voltron, and if you're trying to understand what that means, watch it, and then you'll be like, oh, it's exactly what he said. It's a meat. Meat comes out of a freezer, moves itself across, and then just into a
Meet Voltron.
meat Voltron.
Arms and legs talking the whole bit.
Everything.
Turkey head.
Ridiculous. But I gotta admit, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I was very indifferent. I mean, I would I watch it again? Not anytime soon. But I didn't hate it.
That's your first impression?
Yeah.
But would you watch it high?
I would not recommend
I
it.
apparently can't get high though. Okay. First off, I don't smoke. I have tried edibles a few times to sleep. Nothing happens. So I don't think physically I can. And if I did, no.
How do you feel about an altered state while watching this insane movie?
I would say, I'm just making sure you're not going to cut me off again. I would say I don't recommend anyone watching it after taking a 50 milligram edible because it makes the movie really interesting for those that would do that. So that said, my take on this movie. So I saw this movie when it first came out, not in theater. Sorry, when it first came to home viewing, and I was baffled as frick. And so this was a second watch for me. In fact, in the text thread that we have going, James sent a picture of Meat Voltron, and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Are you saying?
Yeah,
I just mentioned it.
He mentioned Meat Voltron, and you're like, "What are you talking about?" So I went and got a picture of Meat Voltron and sent it.
If one was to take that 50 milligram edible and see that particular scene, hearing the words Meat Voltron in your mind would be really, really, really funny. That's all I have to say on that. But as the movie progressed, though, there just isn't a logic, rhyme, or reason to the flow of it, but it's still freaking great fun. And I have a really interesting theory that I'll present in a little bit here, but I'm going to let JP go on his turn on this.
Real quick, I do love Glenn Turman.
Which
The
one
cop.
was it? Oh, yeah.
I've always loved that guy. And I couldn't remember where. I remember I told you, I need to figure out where I know him from. I remember as a kid, I loved the Cosby Show, and I loved the spinoff of the Cosby Show. He was the Colonel.
Yes, yeah.
I already can't remember what it was.
Was
now.
it a Different World?
Different World. He was the Colonel in Different World.
None of this is real quick.
Well, it's James. I mean, this is quick for James.
Thank you for moving it closer.
No. It's a powered mic.
Oh, never mind. But yeah, I once I saw him, I was like, all right, this can't be that bad.
Yeah. So I watched this film when it first came out as well, and unlike you, this wasn't my second watch. This is probably my 20th watch. I watched this film. I did not. I'm like you though. I did not watch this movie in the theater. I watched it once it came to DVD or Blu-ray, and I watched it solely on the idea that at that point I had realized that it was a Don Coscarelli film. And Don Coscarelli obviously did the Phantasm films. He did the Beastmaster. He did Bubba Hotep. He's an amazing independent film.
Dude, little kid
director.
Ryan still has the worst crush on that redhead from Beastmaster. Oh my God. I can't remember
From
her
Beastmaster 2?
No, she was in 1, wasn't she? She
Nah.
was the slave girl.
The redhead in Beastmaster 2 was only in Beastmaster 2.
Anyways, go ahead.
I'm not looking it up because I don't care.
Yeah. So, the first time I watched this film, like I said, I watched it solely, knew nothing about the film. I watched it solely the fact that it was a Don Coscarelli film, and it was so fucking insane that I fell in love with it. And just like anything that Don Coscarelli does, it has an element of insanity to it. I mean, if you've watched Phantasm, you understand. If you watch Bubba Hotep, you understand.
No, it was Tanya Roberts, and she was the first one.
Okay, well, but I was thinking of the hot redhead that's in part 2.
Well, I mean,
and
they're great. But anyways.
And if you've never seen this film is insane. And actually, I've started reading the books. I bought all 4. There are 4 novels. I wanted to bring them. John dies at the end. And to give you an idea of how messed up this film is, this is the names of the sequel books in the series. The second in the series is called This Book is Full of Spiders. The third book is What the Hell Did I Just Read? The fourth book is If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Universe. That should tell you what kind of film you'll be watching.
And for those of you who may or may not have seen any of the Phantasm movies, which are old cult classics, they're amazing. They also circulate around interdimensional beings, which John Dies at the End does as well. So very, very interesting. And I was actually going to ask you the question. Do you feel that because the director did it, I know that the writer didn't write it in that context, but because the director did both, that we're looking at the same universe possibly?
I don't think so, just because... these were novels,
right? But
before he got his hands on it, and I think Jason Pargin, or however you say his last name, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I think he has his own universe in mind with his books. Now, could Don Coscarelli come back and say, "Yeah, I filmed it, so it could be"?
I see similarities in a lot of the creatures,
and I think that's why Don. And I actually read a fun fact on. How Don Coscarelli found this film, or found this novel. He said the only reason he did this film was Amazon recommended the book for him to read as a zombie book. And so he had ordered it and read it, fell in love with it, and then wanted to do the film. So it was based on an Amazon recommendation on Don Coscarelli actually reading the book.
Here's my unique theory. And I want to throw this in front of you, and you can tell me yes or no. By the time I got to the end after my second watch, and things had all come back to me, I thought to myself, is it possible that that what's his face, the main character,
and his name's escaping me right now. Dave,
yes, because it's Dave Wong.
Yeah, David Wong.
And by the way, that's the pen name for Jason Pargin.
Yeah.
So they incorporated that name in there. It's kind of cool. But I almost got the vibe that he himself died at the party, and the rest of the movie is his journey crossing over.
It could be. Like I said, I haven't finished the books. And I haven't even finished the first book. I only got about halfway through. And since I've been home from tour, I've not read anymore. But reading the books and me always watching the movie, I never thought that they died. I never felt that they died. I feel that this is an otherworld drug that is giving them interdimensional travel and making them see things from other dimensions in their world.
Okay. And by the way, the drug is called the soy sauce.
It's called soy sauce.
And it is a black fluid, and it goes... I've heard the correlation, too, for Supernatural, when Dean and his brother end up... what's the black stuff towards later seasons?
Yeah, I can't think of...
It was basically... God damn it. It's going to bother me now. Purgatory.
Purgatory, yeah.
Yes, so it was how purgatory creatures or beings got into our world was through this black fluid. And it kind of reminded me of that a lot.
I can see that. So.
It didn't slightly remind you of Venom?
I mean,
a little.
Yeah.
It was very symbiote, yeah. For sure.
And so, to give context, too, if you haven't seen this, once Dave is... injected with this black substance, the soy sauce, is when all of a sudden his senses become heightened. He is able to understand thoughts before they happen from other people. He's able to kind of moderately predict the future outcome of any scenario or situation he's in, and it makes things get a little interesting. But one of my favorite parts of this, honestly, was the story time, right? So he sits down with Paul Giamatti's character.
Yeah.
And what's that? What'd you say?
Was his name Pig Vomit? In that
Pig Vomit. Yeah, it was Pig Vomit in
what'd they call that? Something Parts. What was the name of that movie? He played Pig
Oh,
Vomit.
Private Parts.
Private Parts.
Private
yeah.
Parts. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Paul Giamatti, he played his character very well. He was a good actor in addition to this. Also, Doug Jones. Wasn't expecting Doug Jones in this. Doug Jones, you have to have seen Doug Jones. He's in I always butcher his name. Del Toro. Let's just say Del Toro's movies. Like Hellboy. He's Abe Sapien in Hellboy. He's in Star Trek Discovery. He plays, I forgot that character. But usually he's a tall, slender man in some prosthetic or some makeup effect of some sort.
And you also have the amazing Clancy Brown.
Oh, yeah?
Clancy Brown's in this, so...
What else that we know of is Clancy Brown in?
He's definitely in Starship Troopers.
And there's another something. There's some movie. It's escaping me. Star Wars? Is that right?
I think I need to watch The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
I love that film.
I've
Let's
never even heard of
fucking
this.
do it.
Well,
yeah. You're going down my path.
First of all, that was an excellent deflection away from Star Wars. And you did it with terminology that both JP and I understood, because that is an amazing film. You'll probably hate it, though.
I'm looking at it.
But
I
it's
will.
amazing.
I know I will.
And
Look,
while you're down that road, go watch the original Howard the Duck.
I've seen Howard the Duck.
Okay. There's
Clancy,
still hope for you.
Clancy Brown, though. Let's get back to him. Not only the Star Wars reference, but Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
It was an awful laugh, but I was swallowing. Shut up. Okay.
So I love how the movie starts, though, with the grandfather axe theory. With the guy, the opening scene of the film is a guy kills another guy with an axe. So he breaks the handle when he kills him. So he goes to the hardware store, buys a new handle, puts the axe head on the handle. A year later, he drops the axe, breaks the actual axe. So he goes back to the hardware store again. He buys a replacement axe blade, puts it on the handle. He gets back home, and the person he killed is alive as a zombie, and looks at him and says, "That's the axe that killed me." And then the question comes up, is it? Since the handle and the blade have been replaced.
Where are you going with this, though?
I'm just saying, I love that. Is how the film starts. And
Yeah,
Fair.
right there. I'm not
it's-
going to lie. That was at the point where I go, here we go again. With this bullshit that he picks.
I did think the same thing at
like,
that moment.
shit, here
but
we go.
But I also kind of, in my mind, I went, well, okay, so it's the person who killed him, so he's not far off.
no,
So I was kind of in that.
but it's still not the same axe.
Yeah. But he's been dead. He doesn't know.
It's just one of those thought-provoking things that they threw in there at the very beginning. But Paul Giamatti, moving on to where you're at, Paul Giamatti is so good in this film.
I like where it goes. I like where it goes with him.
Yes.
I was not expecting that, and I forgot about that little curveball at the end of his portion. And I was so happy when that happened. I was like, that was done well. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it starts pretty quick with the meat monster. You get the meat monster pretty soon at the beginning.
Voltron.
Voltron.
Meet Voltron, okay.
And,
Paul Giamatti, though, just to give a little thing into this. So Dave has contacted him. He's a journalist, and he wants to tell him what's going on with the soy sauce, these interdimensional beings. He wants to lay it all out for him, essentially. So he contacts him. They sit down in this diner, and as soon as he sits down, Paul Giamatti starts asking him questions. And the first thing that Dave does, Paul Giamatti questions it. He looks and he's like, okay, anyone could do that. It's just a random trick. Well, then Dave goes further and tells him about the dream he had the night before. And he's like, okay, now you've got my attention. And he starts unraveling the story to tell him, and you start getting the actual sequences. You start seeing that as the movie unfolds. But meanwhile, this whole story's happening with Paul Giamatti while he's sitting there and he keeps asking questions back to Dave. When it gets to the end, the way to wrap it, he's telling a story when a police officer is over him, and he's a white actor and freely uses the N-word and referencing himself. And Dave looks at him, he goes, what'd you just say? And he repeats it, and Dave goes, what do you... To me, you look... He explains to him, he goes, to me, you look like a middle-aged white guy with a belly. And he's like, what? And they go out to his car for whatever reason. Maybe I'm missing a part here.
They go out to his car because Dave has one of the interdimensional monsters.
Oh, that's
in
right.
the cave.
He wants to show him.
Yeah.
And he makes him stand eye to eye with him and look out of the corner of his eye, the peripheral, to be able to see the creature. And Paul Giamatti's character ends up seeing it and loses his shit. So then they go over to Paul Giamatti's car and they open the trunk. And there is his body of an older black man who is the journalist that he was supposed to be, which is why he used the N-word. He sits in the front seat of his car in disbelief, and before you know it, he disappears. He's essentially a person that Dave has created in his head, or a ghost.
It's kind of alluded that it is a ghost, but Dave is seeing him how he perceived him when he talked to him on the phone.
His impression.
His impression. He heard he talked to him on the journalist on the phone, and he perceived him as a middle-aged balding white man, and so that's what he saw.
Right.
But
that also that opens up my theory before too. So when one of the superpowers with the soy sauce is he says he can talk with the dead, and that's why he thinks at one point he's got a Polish sausage or something, or a bratwurst. He's got it up to the side of his head and he's talking in the bratwurst like it's a phone, and he can hear his buddy talking to him, but he thinks his buddy's dead. So there's little elements that allude to him being able to hear dead people, see dead people, all those things. So I'm thinking that was a possibility.
Yeah, but it's also kind of insinuated that they're both on the sauce and that they can communicate,
There's
with each other.
So many ways you can take this.
It
movie
is. No, the whole movie is a mindfuck.
It's like, I feel like even if you sat down with this guy and said, what was the goal? He'll go, I don't even know.
Well, I think if we sat down with him and asked him about all 4 of these books, he's going to say, I was on a lot of drugs, guys. I was on a lot of drugs. And
which is what you love, so.
Well,
This is the movie, though, where it's like, if you were to take an edible, you don't even need to know the storyline. You're just like, what is this?
I will say this: when the sequence came in where they were showing back the trailer with the dude, bro, that guy,
yeah,
when he's on the ground and you see the larvae or whatever they are swarming around him, so there are interdimensional creatures that are basically trying to invade our world, which is what he shows Paul Giamatti. However, they nest inside of us and they burst out. So you see a lot of gore when they burst out, and then they swarm, they go towards another host, and they keep moving that way. And when you see the trailer, when you go into that sequence and you see that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That was especially
I just wonder,
for those who would take an edible.
How, if you're going to do that much drugs and write this movie, how do you keep it all track all the way to the end? How do you try to keep it streamlined?
He had to sober up to put it together.
And it'd be like, what did I do last night?
So
all right, start over.
Authors are, and I'm going to say because not many people know this, are our own worst enemies. Because I have 2 different books that I have written all the way through fully in different time periods, and then you go back and you reread and you proofread and you go through, and you're constantly your own worst enemy, because you're literally like, oh, that sucks now. Rip it, throw it out. Rip it, throw it out. Start over again, rewrite. You make it all make sense and make it tie together, but it takes a lot of fucking time. It is very painful. And so, I can see where...
And drugs can't help that.
No, but when you make a project, and I'm only imagining, when you make a project with this kind of flow, that's where you put down the nonsense in pieces. And then when you're not in that mindset, you make those pieces fit and correlate. And I feel like there's a lot of reaches here, but he made it all fit.
Like, here's the Clancy's part was pretty much pointless.
He's pretty weird. Yeah, that was
his whole part of that movie was. I mean, I like the guy. I'm glad he was in it, but his whole character was just pointless.
Is he like an interdimensional rebel who's fighting against it because he had powers?
He is. Yeah. He is fighting against them. He knows. Where I'm at in the book, he is in the book. That character
Macroney,
is
right?
There, yeah, and he is fighting them. I think he's of this world, but he sees things, he understands things, and he is fighting them.
Because just with words over a phone, he destroyed Meat Voltron.
He destroyed Meat Voltron with just.
I did love how he was just like that was easy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the dog.
My nemesis.
Random fact about the dog, like Prey, Barkley was a rescue.
Okay.
He was a rescue dog that they had rescued.
Barkley?
That was the dog's name.
That's good.
You didn't see it?
Huh?
You didn't see that on the name tag?
I didn't.
Yeah.
That's what happens,
a
I guess.
little distracted.
It was a rescue dog that they had picked up for the film. Now, what happened to Barkley after the film, I did not find information on that, but he was a rescue. So,
well, Barkley played a very wonderful role and saved the universe.
Barkley he sacrificed everything.
Everything.
He drove that Bronco right through that wall.
That was a badass Bronco.
I told Heather, because
Bronco.
I watched this without Heather because she was doing stuff, and I was like, honestly, I think you would actually like the movie. I was like, but goddamn, his Bronco was sweet, and you would have loved it because she loves old Broncos.
I think Heather would like this film.
No, I think she would too. Just it was just one of those days where she was trying to get everything done, and I knew my time frame to watch these movies because I knew we were going to be at SeaWorld all day yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need to get these done, so I just, while she was out doing her shit, I just. She saw the last 40 minutes because she came home, and when Lost came home from school, I went out through a football with him, for a little bit, and then I came back to finish it, and she was kind of in and out. But
Jess finished the project, and she like curled up in my lap, and she watched like maybe 20. She's already seen the movie with me, but for the rewatch, she maybe lasted 20 minutes, and she was asleep. Hand me your glasses. So I was like, okay, that's fair.
I will say this. There is a love interest in the book for Dave, and we have that kind of love interest in the movie as well.
Nubs?
Yeah, with Nubs. But
Amy. Get it right.
Ghost Hand.
Amy.
So, however, the love interest in the book is named Jennifer Lopez. Yes. And the book even references that, yes, not that Jennifer Lopez. So it even makes fun of himself, makes fun of it. He also calls the cop in the book Morgan Freeman. And but there's a couple of girls in the book, and the Amy, it feels like they combined the Jennifer Lopez character with this other character into one character for the movie.
Another Voltron was made.
They merged.
Chick Voltron.
They merged them together for the film.
Chicktron.
So Nubs, I think was one of the cool.
Amy.
Dude, all I kept thinking every time her name was Amy. All I keep thinking of every time in that movie when I'd see her fucking prosthetic, huge, oversized hand, all I kept thinking about is the Man Hands episode of Seinfeld where that giant puppet hand reaches across to get the crumbs off his face. Every time I see it. And then when you get to the point where she has to open the ghost door.
That's where I was going. That's one of my favorite scenes because it's like they draw a Beetlejuice door, basically. It's just like, hey, draw a door.
On brick.
They draw the door and they're like trying to open it and they can't figure it out. Then the girl with no hand
has
a ghost hand and opens the door
because of the phantom lens.
Yeah.
Now, interesting thing about that scene. When the fuck did we decide that they can see everything if they're wearing these 3D glasses? When did that become a like? That was the part when he handed her the glasses. I'm like, that's all you need.
I thought they were eclipse glasses.
God knows there's enough of them left.
Well, I mean,
multi-billion-dollar
soy sauce It does a lot of stuff. It does a lot of things and stuff. It don't have to be explained.
So is she on the soy sauce too?
Well,
I didn't think she was.
it doesn't have to be explained.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't have a good
So
answer.
there's a lot of moments in this movie where logic flies out the window.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it for what it is.
There's not a lot of logic to this film. It's bonkers. It's just you're there for the ride.
Like The Fifth Element, it's just dumb
But I
fun.
will say one thing: this was easier to follow than I Heard Huckabees.
Oh, absolutely. Because
You guys are out of your mind.
damn, that movie sucked.
Out of your mind. It's all right.
I at least was like, okay, well, they're on drugs. Soy sauce is fucking them up, so anything goes at this point.
How do you know they were on
Unlike
drugs all throughout I Heart?
Huckabees.
I mean, that's pretty drug inducing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, to watch it.
Made me
To
want to
each their
go.
own, James.
Made me want to drink a whole bottle of alcohol after I watched it and pass out to try to forget it.
I took 2 naps while it was on.
You're a guy, that's why you didn't appreciate it. You didn't get all the points that mattered.
There was none.
Plenty.
There was none.
Let's get back to John Dies at the end. Don't talk shit when I'm about to judge your movie, okay?
What? I'm just saying.
Trying to stick up for
I
your
love
shit
how I
here.
said it,
This
and
one's
then he
on.
goes at you.
I heard Huckabee sucked.
He
He's
brought it
mad
up.
at me.
No, I'm the
No,
one
he
who
did.
did.
Oh. Well, maybe it was your retort. I don't know.
It was that's what got. It's never the guy who
Because
does it.
it
It's always the
sucked.
guy that. Hey, our parents always taught us at a young age. It's always the one that retaliates that gets in trouble.
That's true. That's true.
I still tell my kids, if they swing first, you're good. I got your back.
So I was always told second and third. I was always told the first and second was theirs, third one's yours.
Yeah. Anything.
You're like, no, end it now.
I'm serious, because nowadays, especially, you don't know what any kid has nowadays. Any kind of weapon, no one fights fair anymore. There's no one-on-one. We used to, like back in the day, you'd have everyone would hold everyone out, and it'd be 1v1. That's it, And now it's like anything goes.
Completely off topic. I did have that lady I was at the airport last night. We were talking about the podcast, talking about the movies, and we got into some pretty cool conversation. And she said the same thing. She was like, what happened to like when we were kids and we just beat the shit out of each other and moved on? Now we gotta, now we gotta pull guns and end things. Like we just beat each other up. Whoever lost. Take your ass whooping and go home.
That's what we did.
Yeah, I mean now everyone's a little pansy. But anyway, I will say this. I haven't said much about this, so I'm gonna just give my 2 minutes here.
Hop in there.
Let me give my 2 minutes here. I enjoyed the acting in this. I had no idea what the hell was going on most of the time.
But you don't have to.
But this is a movie you really don't have to know what's going on. This is almost a choose your own adventure of what do you want it to be.
Yeah.
Every scene. It made me want to go into an abandoned mall so bad and just walk around. I don't know why. That just seems cool to me.
Random fact about that, not to cut you off, but the mall, the guy who directed, or not the guy who directed this, I think it was the guy who wrote this.
Well, it says here written and directed by Don.
Yeah, no, Don Cascarelli. But the guy who wrote the book.
The book, okay.
The mall where Don Cascarelli filmed was the first mall. There was a theater in there. It was the first time that Jason Pargan had actually saw Phantasm, was in that mall. It was a random little coincidence fact
Nice.
that I read.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. It was... I mean, the comedy horror is kind of perfect for this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I really enjoyed the dog, even though that would, obviously that would never happen. Everything with that would never happen. But,
Barkley was awesome.
Soy
though.
sauce.
but he was awesome.
Yeah, dogs talk to you, man.
But I didn't hate you for this one. You're welcome.
Yay!
I'm not gonna lie though. In the very beginning, the axe and all, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he did it to me again. Like he cannot give me a break on this shit. You thought the same thing.
No, I didn't. I already seen this once, and I appreciated it the first time, so that was good.
But would I watch this again? Not anytime soon.
If we get a sequel, if they start making the rest of these books by chance, I would follow it. I'd watch it again.
I would
to
watch
get ready.
the next one, and if they did this again, it'd be a little weird. I don't know if I go to a third.
I think unfortunately at this point
it's dead.
it's dead because the actors are older. I mean, this film was
This was in 12?
something like, I was going to say, this movie's at least 10 years old.
2012.
So at this point, it would have to be a whole new cast, probably a new director, which to me, a new director.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, it
You
just
can't.
Don Coscarelli has such a style.
And we're not going to go into it yet, but let's just be honest here. Monetarily wise, this would be a very bad decision.
I don't think so. Hear me out. I don't think so. Hear me out. So first of all, I'm going to give a little bit of a.
I think at this point, this one has become such a cult classic that if it was to be done
He was
now,
probably about to say that.
yeah.
No, I wasn't. I think if they did it now, I think that they would have to make it a series, not a movie. And I think even if John Dies at the End had originally come out as a series, I probably would have appreciated that more if they broke it up and gave a little more depth.
Not a long one though, like 3 or 4 episodes.
No, I feel like you could add multiple seasons because you have interdimensional beings, and that could take you into the rest of the books. So each
We already
season,
have a Supernatural.
you could do 4 seasons, and you could have but it wasn't that because
I've never seen that.
have you ever seen Odd Thomas?
Yes, I love Odd Thomas.
So Odd Thomas.
What's that?
It's on my list, and it stars Anton.
He passed. He went.
He
My
was
wife and I
so
was talking
good.
about
He was
this.
so
He was
good.
awesome, but man, it sucks the way he went
Yeah.
out.
And Burying Your Ex. Did you ever see that one?
No, isn't
That's-
that part of the X trilogy though? Is that the same one or is that different?
I'm not sure what
Okay.
you're talking about.
There-
But
there's
but he stars in a movie called Burying Your Ex, and it's
Oh, no,
so
it's not.
good. It's so good.
You guys love movies that just don't make money. Like,
But you know what? Here's the thing.
Odd Thomas became a cult classic
It
too.
did.
Odd Thomas got crushed at the box office.
I
Doesn't matter.
I don't even care.
It made
Like,
money
if
later.
I'm going to be real with you, like all of Stranger Things,
it made
is
money
stolen
later.
from Odd Thomas.
I
if
believe
I had
that,
to
but
tell
look
you.
at that number.
I don't care.
It made money later.
So
though.
let me tell you why I don't care. Odd Thomas is a perfect example of the same thing that just happened with the whole Beyonce and Jay-Z bullshit. Jay-Z paid the radio stations almost $20 million to get her song to the top. And that is our current industry where people are paying to have the biggest things forward and they don't care about the shit that's good. So some of the stuff that's amazing doesn't get the light of day because they don't have the funding or the budget. Mm-hmm. It's not fair because they're quality movies still. So I do think that there is a unfair advantage. Like the original Dune, like nothing really, like that was just kind of at the box office. Nothing like major and crazy. People loved it, don't get me wrong, because the books are amazing. But like this new Dune, like they put all their fucking eggs in the basket and everything went forward, and I'm happy because it was good. But there's so many good movies that are just on par with that.
Well, I think if you were to do John, I think there's enough cult following now that it would do well. But one thing I will say was it would suck to not have Don Coscarelli directing it, because he did this movie right with the budget he had. And I will say I've not finished the first book yet. Like I said, I'm only halfway through it. But from what I have read, he's almost spot on with the novel.
What year did Phantasm come out?
70. Was it 78? I was thinking 76 or
78 or 79.
So how old was the director when he made John Dies at the End versus that? I guess is my question. Like, how is
79.
He's still alive?
See, he's not 79. Oh, you're talking about the year. No, he's I think Don Coscarelli's in his
He's 70.
Is he 70?
Oh,
I didn't.
yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't think he was maybe in his 60s.
He's 70.
He looks great for 70.
No, I couldn't believe it, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy looks like he's like 55.
Yeah,
but
no,
he was born in 54.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because, you know me, and my wife hates me for this, but the guy from Odd Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek also.
Do you know how he died?
Yeah,
he
that's
got
what I was
crushed
just talking about.
He got
Crazy.
crushed by his Jeep. It rolled back.
It rolled backwards into his gate,
Did he
his
just
like
not put
property
it in
gate.
park?
No, there was a defect. There's a recall on those, and it was like the emergency brake would release or something, and they would fall out of gear or something. And
Yeah, it sucks because he was like literally. I think he had a major. Oh, that was just before Star Trek 2 was made, right, or 3?
3.
Yeah, so he was in works to make that happen, and then everything fell through.
He was a Smurf.
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff. He was a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking like he was in a lot of stuff for a young age.
Yeah. He did a lot of really great
He was
films.
a busy dude, that's for sure.
But I almost compared. So Odd Thomas was like Dave and most of the story, but then John himself reminds me of like a character you get out of like Euro Trip. Like,
Oh, yeah,
he
it
was
was-
so fucking off the wall, and he gave zero fucks about saving the universe, for being honest. He just, like, lived in the moment. Other thing, too, like, I didn't understand, like, I guess nothing makes sense, so it is what it is, but when he said that, what did he say? It was when the letter, he sent the letter to himself at the mall.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was a little perplexing. I was
Yeah.
like, how the fuck, wait, what? Like, I didn't know where,
Well,
are we
but
time traveling now?
yeah, well, I mean, he essentially was, even when he was calling David, because he was like, "Hey, oh, you're there with me? Oh, has this happened yet?" And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
so there was
Okay.
a time travel jumps in all this too. So it was all through it. So that was the thing that was kind of a thing or running theme with John through the whole movie, was you never knew what sequence you were going to talk to him in when he wasn't on screen in front of you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and they do end up going to another dimension and fighting
Yeah.
fighting the monster there that Barkley sacrifices himself for. Poor Barkley. It's a sad scene. And you also get Clancy Brown doing a little cameo in the other dimension.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, was he in the other dimension, or did they go through that door and come back into the world?
They went through the door, and I can't remember if it was like a little purgatory in between dimensions or
Okay.
something. But he was definitely there, sending them on their way.
So that's where the soy sauce came from, the purgatory.
It could be.
Soy sauce came
It
from
makes sense.
purgatory.
We're back at Supernatural.
Yep.
That's where we landed. And the one thing I'll say about this film that it does well, kind of like James was saying a minute ago, it does the horror, comedy, science fiction perfect. Which, I mean, obviously you got Don Coscarelli directing it. That's what he's done for 40 years. It's the type of films he's made. But this is another example of, like, films that, like, Don has done through the years with Phantasm, but even more so, Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2, what Sam Raimi did. This is the kind of stuff that Sam Raimi influenced in the early 80s with the whole comedy horror. This film is very... I always felt like if you like Evil Dead 2, the insanity of Evil Dead 2, especially with the whole sequence with the deer laughing and
But
and
Sam
everything.
Raimi also was influenced by things like
But
Phantasm.
yes,
Phantasm had that comedy
they
as well.
coincide. And I'm not saying it's a ripoff. I'm
Yeah.
saying if you love those style of films and you've never seen John Dies at the End, then you will fucking love John Dies at the End. This is a perfect example of this person influenced this person, but yet this person influenced the same person that influenced him, and then you have a product of a film like this that just feels perfect within that genre.
I can get down with that.
I don't think I realized Giamatti. You know how old he is?
Oh, he's old.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's up there.
He's 56.
Well, I figured he is a little younger than I thought he was. I figured
Yeah,
he was...
I thought he was going to be like in his 70s.
He's only 3 years older than you.
No. No.
Nailed it. I thought...
You guys are basically the same age as me. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm a shining beacon of youth.
I legit... I mean, his breakout role was in Private Parts in 97, and I thought he was in his 50s then. Just by the way he looked. I mean, because he was already bald. He was already...
Yeah.
You know,
I was thinking he was in his 30s.
I'm a little
He
Somewhere
was
disappointed.
30. He was
he
exactly 30. 29, 30.
I'm a little disappointed in myself for not seeing one of his main movies. It was the comic book movie. It's got Cleveland origins. You remember what that was?
It was what?
Paul Giamatti was in a movie that was based around comic books that came out of Cleveland. It was a very well-known movie. It won some awards, actually.
Was it the one that was based on Superman?
Yeah.
I did watch something on that, and I don't know if I remember Paul Giamatti being in it, but maybe I
thought
did.
he was.
Maybe I did.
I don't see anything.
American...
Splendor?
Yes.
Oh, is that what that movie's about?
Yes.
Because
I
that's
thought-
not the same movie I'm thinking of.
No.
It was filmed in Cleveland and Lakewood, Ohio.
But the one of the comic book elements is it's about something along the lines of comic book writers out of Cleveland.
That movie made $6.7 million.
American Splendor.
Yeah, people
$2
raved
million
about
budget, 8.7 box. I mean,
You know, I really wish we'd have got more of his Rhino in the Amazing
I do
Spider-Man.
too. I agreed with that. That
Like, he was so great as Rhino.
I forgot he was in The Illusionist.
the Garfield era of Spider-Man. I thought all the Spider-Mans.
I loved it.
appreciate
I
him in
loved
ways.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I
there.
did too. He was great. He lost his mom, and he did this whole interview about dealing with death, and his words were prolific, and it was amazing. So I beat that, and he's just a good person. It seems outward in the world, and so I can respect that wholeheartedly. He's got those Keanu vibes where he's just you feel like he's a good dude.
So the pacing of this movie.
All right,
The
NASCAR.
pacing is fucking perfect in this film.
How's the pit crew? Are they good?
Whenever the tires fell off, they put them right back on.
All right, kept on going.
I mean, it's a 100-minute movie. I can live with that.
It was to me the pacing's right in this one. One random fact about this film that I thought was fucking awesome, and maybe you will appreciate this fact. At the end of the film, at the post-credit scene,
I didn't watch it.
you didn't watch it?
I didn't see it either.
I don't think I did.
It's literally the credits roll, and then it's like 20 seconds later that there's a whole nother like part of the film.
What happened again? I can't remember.
They're playing basketball.
Oh
and-
yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And they go through
they go through another
dimensional
goes
portal.
the ball.
I didn't see this. I got to go back and watch this. Part
Yes,
now.
this is like the coolest thing one of the coolest parts of the ending.
They're like, we can tell you guys are okay. Like,
Yeah, well, the random fact, they go through the dimensional portal, and these guys show up, the two uniformed guys from the Human Liberation Army, asking for their help.
Oh, I did see this. I do remember this.
They're
now.
asking for their help. So, and they're like, yeah, we'll be right back, and they go back through the portal to their dimension.
That what they, but here's the thing. I do remember this very clearly because they're like, John goes through before Dave, and when Dave crosses over, he goes, "Dude, where you been? It's been a couple hours."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Well, time must move differently here."
Yeah.
So while they're there, they come in across those people, and we can stay and help you, but we got to go back to our dimension first, get some things, and come back. And they go, okay, and then they take off. So I think they did set it up for a potential possible.
Yes.
But yeah.
But the random fact here, the two Human Liberation Army guys, their outfits, do you know what their outfits were originally from? And they were reused in this.
I have two guesses. I don't think the second one's good. I'm going to go with Star Trek.
You're close.
Galaxy Quest. It's the
It's the
that's the one I
outfits
dropped.
from the aliens from Galaxy Quest, the uniforms that they wear. It wasn't like replica. It was two of the
That's
outfits from Galaxy Quest.
And what's even funnier is their hair looked like it.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, that's interesting.
Alrighty.
So are those actual humans then, or are they the aliens from Galaxy Quest?
That's
Dun, dun,
oh
dun.
Jesus.
Let me guess, you never watched Galaxy Quest.
No, why would I?
It's
You
a
would
comedy.
love it.
Why would
You
I?
would
It's a
love
spoof
it.
Galaxy,
comedy.
Star,
Alan
any-
Rickman, he's in it.
I don't care.
You should. You
Tim
love
Allen.
him.
Tim Allen's in it.
Sigourney Weaver.
It's
Quality.
hilarious. And there's a rock Voltron.
Very true.
You're not selling this.
It's good.
Golem Voltron.
God bless you.
Golemtron.
Okay.
So I can't find exacts. I've tried. I've just Googled anything. It just says less than.
well, because it didn't get a full theatrical release, so I'm sure
I'm just trying to find the budget.
I would.
All it says. Is
I couldn't
less,
find the budget.
All it
Yeah.
says is less than $1 million. I mean, they're like, we're not even telling you.
Yeah,
what we paid on this.
I was going to say, because I don't have the numbers. I didn't look. I was going to do another
There's
guessing
no
game.
way it's less than $1 million.
And I was going to say, if I was going to guess, I was going to guess this budget was $2 million.
Everything I'm finding says less than $1 million.
I would be.
I can't find anything.
really.
else.
I'd be really surprised under $1 million. I would think 2, maybe 3.
I was going to say 3 to 5. That was my
So-
guess. Because there's still a special
If you
effects
guys
element.
find it, send it to me because I want to know. Because I can't. I just Google it. I can't find anything that says anything other than it just says less than
And
$1
you
million.
have theatrical numbers, right?
It comes up to 141,000.
Okay. Well, I wish
Nine
you
hundred.
were going to guess. Why are you doing
Because
this?
there's no
I already
point
looked
even
this one
guessing.
up.
You got,
I already looked
yeah.
this
He
one
already. I knew already looked it up.
But I said I hadn't.
No, I'm sorry. And then I fucked it up.
Yes.
$141,951.
Yeah.
They got that down to the dollar,
Yeah.
but they can't tell us what the budget was.
Yeah. But Don Coscarelli, he probably I think there's a lot of instances where he doesn't really give because it's all independent. It's not like he's getting studios to give the numbers, so for the budgets.
So how do?
But I knew this movie did not do well. I was going to guess 500,000 was what made.
How do they get by then?
He made money on DVD and Blu-ray. This movie, I know it made money for him on DVD and Blu-ray. I bet if you looked, if you could even find how many theaters this premiered in, I bet it was a very low number. So 100,000, and he probably only had this. I'd be surprised if he had it in 50 theaters. So the limited release that it had is probably not bad. Because this wasn't a Hollywood. This was an indie film. This was.
Which for an indie film, it actually filmed well.
Well, all of his thing with Don Coscarelli, he did Phantasm, and he did Beastmaster for a studio. Then he did Beastmaster so he could do Phantasm 2 with a major studio. And after he did Phantasm 2, it left such a bad taste in his mouth. He left Hollywood, and every film he has done since has been out of his own independent dime. And he will not take Hollywood money. Everything he does is 100% independent. And
this did go to Sundance.
Yeah. That I figured because he usually does the festivals. So, that's one thing that I've always respected with Don Coscarelli. It's one of the reasons he's one of my favorite independent directors is because he, even more so than guys like Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith works for bigger studios.
Right.
Don Coscarelli, after and I can't remember. Do you remember what was Phantasm 2? Was that Universal or?
I don't remember that.
It was one. It was one of the big studios that he did, and after that he said he'd never take money from them again. He stayed independent, and it's just. For the past 40 years almost, this guy has stayed, or 30-some years, he has stayed completely independent. Every film he's done has been that way, and I completely respect it. I think it's one of the most respectable things that for him to do his art the way he wants to do it and not have somebody tell him otherwise. I think it's fantastic.
While I'm at it. Tomato meter.
Oh, I'm sure the critics hated this. I'm going to say the critics probably did 30%.
Right.
70.
59. Audience score.
I think it's going to sit in the middle. I'm going to say 65.
Ryan.
60.
60. 54. It actually was lower than the tomato meter.
Those people didn't know what they were watching.
Oh, now the excuses.
Yeah.
Ryan, how many nerds are you giving this?
Hold on, I'm this close to finding if it'll ever open up out the budget.
You actually found something?
I did.
Because I googled and I couldn't find nothing.
It's not opening anything.
You want to send it to me?
It's because it's broken.
Hold on, let's go back to the main source. Because when I highlighted this, so Film District's 30 million budgeted Parker. No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know. I can try and send you the link and see if you can open it further.
Just text it to me.
Incoming.
Or can you airdrop it to my MacBook?
I mean, I can.
Hey, you were already there at text.
I know, but I gotta. Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
We're overthinking this. Technology. So let's go ahead and get your score while he's looking at that. See if he can pull it up.
This one, I'll go after Jay. No, he's looking that up. God damn it! All right. Well,
I can give you mine.
all right.
I get a 3.2.
3.2. Even?
I was at this too. It doesn't tell you anything.
All right.
When you click that further financials, it doesn't do anything. I was already here. Yeah, I give it a 3.2. I liked it, but I give it a 3.2 just because it was a what the fuck am I watching again? Like, I didn't hate it like I hated the other ones you've given me in the past, but I'm still sitting here like I don't know what this storyline is. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what's really happening.
You don't know what fucking universe you're
Yeah,
in.
and honestly, I'm not a universe guy. I'm just not. That's why like people. I got friends that are like, "Oh, you're not a real Batman fanatic." I can do it my own way. I just don't dive down all the rabbit holes to this universe, that universe, this like I just like the entity of what it is. I just don't go down those things. So yeah, not knowing exactly where we are. Not like when that happened when you were talking about Paul's character, changing. I didn't see that coming. Like I thought we were like I was actually looking forward to the end of finding out like how this ties together as the meeting. Oh wait, that got taken away. My bad for thinking something might be normal. But I didn't hate the movie. Would I watch it again someday? Maybe.
That's
not on my own pick.
That's a win for James for me because I mean he responds with I didn't hate it.
What was it? What else did we get a win out of with him recently? It was we saw the growth happening. What was it that you said?
Definitely wasn't I Heart Huckabees.
Well, we did Scream. He didn't hate that one.
No. He said something earlier that we both looked at him like, see, there's growth. You understand us.
Yeah, the Bonsai Buckaroo or whatever.
No, it was before that too. But that's multiple growth.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it alone there.
Yeah.
No, I just picked the name of something on his page and picked the name. I'm never gonna watch that shit.
We might have to make him watch it now. It might have to happen.
It's good stuff.
Since you did it and talked shit.
That film has Peter Weller in it.
Yep. Okay, so for me, this one was a right up the middle alley for me. This is we'll go a little higher than the middle alley. Sorry, I went with 3.4, and that's because I do love all elements of what's going on here. I do like the direction for sure. I do like the story, I like the characters. But I do feel there is a lot of gaps, a lot of crazy stuff that's not logical. No, thank you. I don't want to chew in people's ears when I'm doing this.
I'm not chewing.
I'm not chewing.
I didn't chew. I was sucking on it.
So, anyways,
Did that get you hard?
nothing that either of you ever. No, I'm good. Get that fucking shit out of here. 3.4.
Is this what you're
Love the
talking about?
movie. Don't do that in people's ears, man. Love the movie overall. I got past the gaps that bothered me.
So it's me.
10 out of 5.
This movie is a solid 10 out of 5. This movie is the genre that I love. It's insane. The plot holes don't matter because it's just fun, start to finish. 4.1.
Only at 4.1?
4.1.
Jesus.
The enigma that is JP and his scoring.
I expected higher out of you, honestly. But okay.
I mean, I can give it higher.
No, if that's your rating, that's your rating.
I mean,
Don't let us.
Yeah.
Don't let us bully you.
No, I think a realistic number is 4.1. Now, do I love this film? For me, is this film a 5? Maybe, but
Well, it's about you. It's not about everyone else.
But I also have to be a little realistic. I think there's better films. I think I save my 5s for films that I just truly think are great.
It's a fucking party animal.
And I didn't give the Party Animal a 5.
No,
However, in my
You gave like a
mind,
2 if I remember right.
in my mind, it is a 5.
Dude, I'm gonna reflect on JP's statement. When I told him that one of my most inspirational movies was Porky's, his retort was, "You should see the Party Animal. It's 1,000 times worse." And so I'm thinking that it's going to be unbelievably hilarious. No. He literally meant it was worse. So
was
you
set up.
have to clarify with him. We were talking earlier, or in our last episode of the Imitation Game. You have to clarify and be literal, apparently, in some instances of JP.
Well, I mean, a film that has rocket dildos
We didn't know.
is great.
We didn't know.
It's fantastic.
Wrong.
There's a character named Elbow in it.
Yeah. If I would have known.
I think I'm going to take a page out of his book and choose a movie you guys will hate intentionally.
You already did.
No. This
100%
actually,
did.
he will actually like the movie. You will hate it.
I want to know what this is now.
Glass of Nukem High.
Oh, I love that one.
Yep.
I love that one, yeah.
Class of Nukem High was what I just whispered for those of you who may or may not have seen it.
Maybe I'll do Hell Came to Frogtown.
If you
I
guys
don't know
do
that
two
one.
in the same one, I'm done. I'm not going to watch. I'm just going to sit here.
My
and talk shit.
my next round is going to be an awesome one. I'm excited about. So
You were excited about I Heart Huckabees, so I'm scared.
this one's different, and this one
He just had the look of scared.
It baffled me because you and Heather said you hadn't seen it, and the majority of people I know that are our age have not seen it, and I don't understand it. It's singles, and it's.
Oh yeah, we did look it up.
Yeah.
I just wasn't
I've
gonna.
seen
I didn't want to
some.
pay the $4 to rent it.
I actually went to the theater. And
Well, I
watched
own it,
Singles.
so
I watched it in the theater.
I have that. That one is I have that as a double DVD actually with Empire Records. So it's pretty.
Empire
Well,
Records
I mean,
is a
Rex
much better
Manning
film.
Day just happened.
Yeah.
What's that?
Rex Manning Day was the same day as the eclipse.
I'm happy you were happy about that.
It got eclipsed by the eclipse.
Oh
That's
boy,
sad.
he's starting to get into dad jokes. I apologize.
Oh,
May or
this
may
coming
not be.
from that's all your Facebook page
No,
is.
no,
But hey,
but I'm saying I'm rubbing off on you.
No.
James.
no, we'll not let that happen. And you know what? There was something in there that I'm not going to touch.
Rubbing off, touching. We're your CineNerds.
I'm gonna take
Get
this.
off my weenus.
I'm gonna take this episode as a win for me because everybody seemed to somewhat enjoy it. Everybody seemed to enjoy John Dies at the End, so I'm taking it as a win.
I'm just not a mean prick like you. That's all. I heart Huckabees.
We did pretty stomp that movie.
Jesus.
Like-
Anyways,
like-
I mean, the movie was just bad.
No, it wasn't.
Dude,
It
after
was
we
good.
went to dinner with you, Heather and I went home. And I'm like, you need to watch the episode tonight because a fall because JP she just watches the collapse of JP. going like this. I'm like, wait, there it goes. She goes, what? And I go, rewind. I'm like, there goes the Dr. Pepper, and now it's gone. I'm like, yeah. So we're laughing, and then I was like, well, here, while you're at it, listen to us rip this one apart, and then I put that one on.
all right. Well, if you guys are curious and you guys have suggestions, commentary, anything, you guys can email us freely at 3cinenerds@gmail.com. If you are curious about what platforms we have the podcast up on for Audible and for video, you can go to our Facebook page and see our link tree. It's got everything listed there. And also on the link tree is the merch tab. And then I'll let JP do his share and follow bit.
Share, follow, subscribe, invite your friends.
And
You can.
what's the big one? The R word.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Give us a follow. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook. Follow us on all of them. Invite your friends to all of them. Write a review. Please write us a review. You can do it on Apple Podcasts. Even if you're watching us on YouTube, you can go to Apple Podcasts, write a review. Go to Spotify, rate the show. If you do write a review, I'm going to try to read it. We read one 2 episodes ago. This is the same day we're recording, so I don't have another one to read yet. So therefore,
In these reviews, I expect you to describe what is sexy and appealing about JP to you. I want to hear it.
in a very uncomfortable way
Uh,
for me.
but keep it appropriate enough so that your review doesn't get taken down.
No. Okay, I'm not even going to argue it. It's okay. I'll accept it.
Well, I guess on that note, we are your CineNerds. I'm Ryan.
I am JP.
He's tired. We're out.